They're lying to you about Bitcoin.
In March 2026, Google's quantum AI division published a research paper that recalibrated the timeline for decentralized network security. The findings demonstrated a method to break the 256-bit elliptical curve cryptography, securing Bitcoin and Ethereum using significantly fewer resources than previous models predicted.
Google just issued a warning about how quantum computers could start breaking through the complex encryption protecting cryptocurrencies much easier and sooner than previously expected.
Quantum computing poses arguably the biggest threat to Bitcoin.
For months now, every major financial institution has been running the same story, that quantum will break Bitcoin. You can see it here. A major Wall Street bank in February said sell Bitcoin, buy gold. Quantum computers could eventually crack Bitcoin's security. This is Jefferies, one of the largest investment banks in the world, in a note to clients. Google, in March 2026, said a future quantum computer could derive a Bitcoin private key in 9 minutes. A Nobel Prize winner in March 2026 said Bitcoin is the target. Bitcoin could be one of the earliest real-world targets of quantum attacks. This is John Martinez, a Nobel Prize-winning physicist who built Google's quantum computer. And then the largest crypto news website, CoinDesk, said in April 2026, crypto apocalypse. The day quantum computers crack Bitcoin is coming and the industry isn't ready. Okay, so here's the reality. The machines that these people are telling you are going to break Bitcoin's cryptographic private keys hasn't been built. It doesn't exist. And the most aggressive timelines are 5 to 10 years, but most researchers actually say that's much longer. You'll even see in the same paper that scared everyone, the machine they're talking about is currently physically impossible to build. Okay? So there is something that does exist right now that is a massive threat that the banks don't want you to know about, that the centralized exchanges don't want you to know about. AI can hack banks right now, and nobody's connecting it to what they're telling you about Bitcoin. So here's the timeline. I'm sure you guys have heard about this, but Anthropic released and tested a new AI model called Mythos. Obviously, Anthropic is one of the top AI companies in the world, the makers of Claude, and they tested this new model internally. It wasn't designed to hack. That wasn't the purpose of it at all. It wasn't even told to attack anything. And what it did is it found thousands of security holes nobody even knew existed across every major operating system and web browser, all by itself. On April 7th, Anthropic tests this new AI internally. The security team finds that it has discovered over 1,000 unknown security holes in major software, all by itself with no human input. So obviously on April 7th, later in that day, Anthropic is refusing public release. And instead, what they did is they launched a $100 million emergency patch initiative. The next morning, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Fed Chair Jerome Powell convened an emergency meeting with the 5 largest bank CEOs in the United States. And in the same week, Bank of Canada held a parallel meeting, and the Bank of England also announced theirs. And what the discovery was, and what humans missed for decades, AI found in hours. There was a critical flaw hiding in the most secure operating system on Earth that was hiding in there for 27 years. Okay? 5 million automated security tests failed to catch a critical bug in a software used everywhere on the internet. And again, like I just mentioned, Anthropic launched a $100 million patch initiative within 24 hours of testing. So they're very scared of this. This is a very, very big problem that's right here. It's not even on the horizon. It's right on our shores today. Because here's the thing. These models aren't just finding the bugs. They're actually chaining them together into a full exploit. So they're not just finding 3 or 4 separate flaws. They're finding flaw 1, flaw 2, flaw 3, flaw 4, and flaw 5. And they're linking it into a complete and full exploit with no humans needed in the chain. So within 48 hours, like I just mentioned, every bank CEO was in one room. This is the CEO from Bank of America, Citi, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo, right? And the subject of the meeting wasn't quantum computing. It wasn't, is quantum going to break our cryptography? It was that AI can hack banks right now. Okay? AI can hack your bank account right now, because it's important to remember that the money in your bank account is just a line on someone else's database, on a centralized single database. That's all it is. It's protected by a pretty simple password and some human beings, okay? It's very, very important to understand. Also, in the same month, in April of 26, while banks were meeting in secret, $600 million was stolen from crypto in April alone. It was the worst month in the history of the industry. So the same AI-powered attackers that the banks are meeting about are attacking centralized crypto exchanges and single points of failure. So here's what the attackers are exploiting in crypto: the Kelp DAO. A single trusted gatekeeper got compromised for $293 million. Okay, the system was set up with only one checkpoint approving every transaction. North Korean hackers shut down the backup checkpoints and forced the system to rely on infrastructure that they controlled. I know this is a little confusing, but this is the whole point. Wait until there's billions of these things out there wreaking havoc on all of this vulnerable infrastructure. So once they got that on the infrastructure they controlled, it was game over, and the attackers walked away with everything. 293 million. Same month, Drift Protocol hackers spent 6 months infiltrating the company. So they spent 6 months pretending to be a real trading firm to get close to the team that was running the platform. Eventually, they got handed the keys, and no software was broken, no code was hacked. They just played the long game, and AI made the patience scale. How they got in? They tricked humans into running it. Okay, Zerion, this is a smaller exploit here, but the amount is small. Really, the method is what mattered. North Korean hackers used an AI to run a nonstop, hyper-personalized phishing campaign against Zerion's team until someone gave up their login. And this is the new playbook, and you're going to see this literally everywhere. Phishing is going to get completely out of control. And then Resolv Labs, a $25 million exploit. They got in by compromising a cloud service. So there were keys that were sitting on an Amazon cloud. This is the same cloud that's used by half the internet. And once they had the key, they printed $80 million of worthless digital dollars out of thin air. Okay? So the pattern here is that every attack went through a door. Not a single attack, not a single hacking attack broke a cryptographic key. And the reason why, and I'm going to kind of explain why this isn't possible, but it's really important that you understand that not all Bitcoin is the same. Bitcoin that's sitting on an app or an exchange has vulnerabilities, it has doors, it has single points of failure, right? Centralized databases are controlled by employees, admin accounts that can get hacked, cloud servers that can be broken into, trusted gatekeepers who can be compromised, and code that can be exploited in smart contracts, customer support that can be fooled by phishing. But Bitcoin in self-custody on a device that only you control has no database. It's run on tens of thousands of computers worldwide through things called Bitcoin nodes. There's no admin. It's only you. There's no cloud. The device never touches the internet. There's no gatekeeper. The network is the verifier. There's no company. Again, the protocol is the quote unquote company, but there's no company in control, and there's no employee. There's no one to phish except for you. And you know, if you're holding your own keys, that this is the most precious information on the planet, and you would never give this up to anyone. You would never give this up to anyone. Okay, so here's the breakthrough, and this is the thing that they're telling you is vulnerable. The breakthrough is that self-custody Bitcoin, there is no door. You can't hack a system that doesn't trust anyone. AI hacking works by finding doors and opening them, but Bitcoin held on your own device doesn't have doors. It has a key only you hold, which is protected by math and physics. Okay, so the fundamental difference here is intelligence versus energy. Banks, exchanges, and DeFi run on trust, and Bitcoin on your own keys held in cold storage runs on physics. Trust can be outsmarted, but physics cannot. And that is really the breakthrough of Bitcoin in an AI world. To attack Bitcoin, you can't outsmart it. You have to outspend it. Every guess costs real electricity, and the energy required to crack a private key is actually the output of a literal star. So you would need to harness the energy of the sun to break a single Bitcoin cryptographic key. And so the thing that they're telling you to be afraid of is the one thing that's actually protecting you right now in this abundant, really intelligence abundant world. We're moving into this world where you could spin up 1 billion hackers that run 24/7. And the one thing that protects you, your labor, your wealth, and the energy that you've harnessed over all of the years of all your work going into your money is Bitcoin held in cold storage. And that's the thing they're telling you to get rid of. They're telling you to sell it. And so they're lying to you about Bitcoin. They're lying to you about the quantum threat in order to shield what's actually going on, which is that their infrastructure is extremely brittle. And so my suggestion to you is you need to move off of that infrastructure. You cannot put your trust in these centralized institutions anymore. So the question isn't whether your keys survive quantum in 10 years. The question is whether anything else besides Bitcoin held in cold storage survives AI hacking swarms in 2.
If I wanted to hack your Bitcoin, I'd send you an email saying a quantum computer can hack your Bitcoin. Click on the link to upgrade now, and then I'd steal your Bitcoin.